I would like to welcome each and every one of you, starting with the President of the Nigerian Foundation of Michigan, the panelists, Dr. Obaseki, Mrs. Okechukwu, Ms. Kayode, Pastor Ojo, and we are still awaiting one of the panelists, Professor Ederia. It is an honor to be at this gathering and to moderate this event. The reason why we are gathering, or why we are gathered here, is one, to kick off the 53rd anniversary of Nigerian independence, and secondly, to put a spotlight on Nigerian, on the nagging problems that besets the Nigerian community that has caused fragmentation of the fabric of our community. And we are here to academically and otherwise seek solutions as we celebrate the independence that we received 53 years ago. We thought it would be a good idea to do this in the form of a symposium. And we'll continue to use this to this dialogue to seek solutions, hopefully, and to ultimately bring healing to the Nigerian community. The theme that best or that befits this problem that we are facing, we believe, is embracing unity in a fragmented Nigerian community. My hope after this academic interaction or engagement is that everyone will take away a new perspective and maybe a paradigm shift in how we relate with one another. Before I go on further, I would like to very quickly, before I introduce the President, I would like to very quickly set the stage and lay some ground rules that we'll work with. Number one, the theme, as I've earlier on indicated, has been broken or divided into 5 subgroups or 5 subtopics. And we have 5 panelists to handle these topics. There will be 2 sessions. During the first session, we'll have 3 speakers, at the end of which there will be 5 questions. Maximum of 5 questions. Time allocation will be 11 minutes for each speaker. At 9 minutes into your presentation, there will be the timekeeper who will find a way to notify you that you have 2 minutes left. And thereafter, at the end of the 2 minutes, there will be another indication that your time is up. There will be a maximum of 5 questions, like I said earlier on, and I'm encouraging you, if you have any questions that you feel you want to ask, since there are going to be 3 speakers before you can ask those questions, I suggest you write them down so that at the end, those questions could be read out so you don't forget. There will be a survey form that is going to be given to you as you come in from the break, 10 minutes break, into the second segment. And I enjoin you to complete those survey forms and submit before you leave. The toilet is across the hallway when you face the east side, to be on your right-hand side. At this point, it is my pleasure to welcome the President of Nigerian Foundation of Michigan, Prince Dr. Adeleke. Please.
Thank you very much, my honorable chairman.
You're welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Without much taking your time, let me introduce myself again. My name is Prince Dr. Adeleke. He's trying to call me Adeleke. And I can remember when I came to the States, they're always asking me here, what is your name? If I say Adeleke, Adeleke, you say Adeleke. Okay, call me Leke. You say Leke, what are you licking? Just call me the first thing in lecture, which is Ade. So since then, Adeleke has been the. So just call me Adeleke. So that the name is not job broken when it's being pronounced. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome every one of you, each and every one of you, to this our very august occasion. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank our special guest and the panelists. I've got your biography here, which I've not been able to go through, so I would have loved to mention your name one by one. I think Professor Basek is here. Likewise, Mrs. Ikechukwu, and our spiritual father is here, Pastor Ujo, and my junior sister, Olamide, right? Olamide, thank you very much. And my professor is here, a renowned professor, Professor David. So you are all welcome. So thank you very much. And as to let you know that this is a big privilege, you know, this evening to stand in front of you and witnessing this premier occasion, one of its kind, because I've been American now going to over 18 years now, specifically in 1995. So, and I've got involved in Nigeria Foundation of Michigan, I think since 1997. You know, this is the first of its kind that Nigeria Foundation of Michigan will have a program before the D-Day, before the day of the event. And to have this kind of program, you know that it is not easy. Just like where I'm coming from, I'm a custodian of the Yoruba culture as a prince. Our father says that it is easier to take us to the river, but it's not that damn easy to force it to drink water. So to have this kind of program, you know that lots of efforts have been put in place. So I'm using this opportunity to say a big thank you to the Independence Anniversary Committee that worked tirelessly to put all this program together. Thank you very much. And I'm not going to take too much of your time because it is very unusual in our culture to come under one roof, to have this kind of program. We are going to interact, rubbing our mind together, and to discuss that problem that has been a kind of elusive to our community, with the topic embracing unity in the fragmented Nigerian community. You know, so I mean, there is. I don't know. I cannot say this unity, but there is kind of rancors going on in our community that we should try as much as possible to eradicate it, so that we will leave a conducive environment for our younger generations, so that they can carry the umbrella of Nigeria, because Nigeria is a great, I mean, it's the greatest country. How we have the leaders that can make it more greatest or most greatest. Because I was reading an article one time, and I believe, to be honest with you, this is not an exaggeration. 10%, or let me say 5% of American sources, Nigerians contribute to it. And that is what happened everywhere, wherever they are. China, Russia, everywhere Nigerians are. You know, they are always making a positive impact to the development of that community. But when it comes to develop our own, it's kind of elusive. So that is why this topic, this is the right time, right moment, right can I say, momentum, you know, to have this kind of discussion. So that I wish by the time the topic discussion going on, we'll have many more people to come around to listen to our panelists here. Because every one of them, they are embodiments of knowledge. They are embodiments of wisdom. Because on one-on-one basis, I've interacted with, having greater interaction with one of them, except 2 or 3. And I've met my younger sister at the meeting when he came to tell us about the programs we were putting together at that time. So, and I hope everyone here will enjoy the program. So, okay, I know that you are a signal to me, because what my perspective of Nigerian community, that is what I've discussed, and how I get integrated. I was recruited to Nigerian Foundation of Michigan by a big brother who happened to be one of the past presidents, Mr. Rafiu Ajani. So because he was contesting and we were denied parity, he told me that, I would like you to come and be a member. And my colleague, Dr. Fatiregun, so together with the First Lady, we were together at that party. That is how I got into the Nigerian Foundation of Michigan. And to be honest with you, it has been one problem after the other. And I hope, after listening to this lecture, we will go home with one thought or the other that will help us change the community. So, if there are any regret, the regret is that it's difficult for us to come together. And I hope, by the special grace of God, because with God, nothing is impossible. So everything is possible. I hope we get there. And what is my goal for this Nigerian Foundation of Michigan? Our house is a must. Our house is a must. And the health clinic is there. Not only in America that they have problem, and they have problem of getting necessary medical assistance in it. Many young guys are coming. My son, the first son of Nigerian communities, here, he just came from America. Now, if I'm not in position to get him
from Nigeria,
from Nigeria, I'm sorry, that's more Freud. He just came from Nigeria. So now, if I don't have means of accommodating him for this health insurance, it will have been a very big problem to me. But glory be to God, you know. And based on that, we've got to have a clinic whereby we can help our needy ones. So I won't take too much of your time. You are highly welcome, and everybody here, thank you very much. You are highly welcome. And I know at the end of this program, we have occasion to give glory to Almighty Lord. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you.
At this point, I would like to introduce the first 3 panelists who will speak before the break. They include Dr. Kinoa Obaseki. Dr. Obaseki attended Edo Cherubim and Seraphim Primary School, which was founded by his father. He proceeded thereafter overseas to attend University of Illinois from 1975 to 1978, where he received bachelor's degree in structural engineering and Master of Science in from same institute, Illinois Institute of Technology in 1981. He obtained his PhD from Michigan State University in 1986 in civil engineering with emphasis in structure. He obtained his employment, one of the early employments with GDS, a subcontractor with Sargent and Laundry, where he analyzed their nuclear components for durability and structural integrity. After his doctoral degree in 1986, Dr. Kinoa Obaseki obtained a job with Detroit Diesel Corporation, a division of General Motors in the US. There's a lot more you can read when you look at the copy that I passed to everybody, but I'm just trying to shorten because of time. He was engaged in philanthropical and active work within the community For example, in Pan-Edo Affairs. He is one of the founding members of Edo National Association, which has an organization that has over 3,000 members. He also served in its board of trustee and in other various organizations, board of trustees as well, including Homeland Development and Community Hope. He's also a founding member of Edo Heritage Association of Michigan. He also served as Secretary General of African Progressive Union in Chicago, bringing Africans together and also fighting the apartheid of the then Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. He was also former Secretary General of Edo Institute of America. This man has also been involved, as you can see, in many activities, including extracurricular activities and some personal interests. For example, he volunteered as a soccer coach in some elementary schools and I think high school. He also taught middle and high school students Bible studies. He completed a 4-year vestry duty and also an usher at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. He participated continuously for 5 years in Habitat for Humanity program. And he served once a week in Spirit of Hope Church, Church Soup Kitchen in Detroit. I would like to move on to the next guest. This is to give just a spotlight to who our first speaker will be. The second speaker will be Professor Andrew Edevie, a retired chemical engineer. He currently is an adjunct professor at Wayne County Community College in Detroit. He's also a member of Urhobo Historical Society, an organization founded by a number of scholars resident in North America for the express purpose of studying and documenting the history of Urhobo peoples in Nigeria's western Niger Delta. Mr. Edevie is also a political activist, best known for his involvement in the Nigerian pro-democracy in North America during the despicable era of the Nigerian military dictatorship of General Sani Abacha in the 90s. This just to also shed some light on his background. Our last speaker in the first session will be Pastor Clement Ojo, who was born in Ibadan, Nigeria, where he had his elementary and high school education. He studied electrical engineering at the University of Lagos, where he graduated in 1984. Currently, he's employed as a technical applications specialist at the Kisla North America Technical Center in Novi, Michigan. He is an ordained and licensed minister at Family Victory Fellowship and also serves as the dean of the church's Bible school, the Ambassador Bible Training School in Southfield. He served as the ministerial staff of the Redeemed Christian Church of God in Detroit, Michigan, as a pastor indeed. He has been married to Mrs. Stella Ojo for a little over 20 years, and they are blessed with 3 wonderful children, including Dami, Tolu, and Erin. Currently, he lives with his family in Southfield, Michigan. At this point, I would like to yield the floor to the first speaker, and that will be again Dr. Kinua Obaseki. And his topic will be genesis of disunity amongst Nigerians, a long-standing issue. Dr. Obaseki.
Thank you. I hope you guys don't mind me sitting.
Oh, by all means, yes.
Because I have requested for a projector so that you can see what I'm saying here. But unfortunately, there's one missing. Yes. Okay. Yeah, when I was first approached by Mrs. Arebale, she asked me if I was willing to participate in this panel discussion. And the topic was embracing unity in a fragmented Nigerian community. And then later on, they switched the topic to genesis of disunity amongst Nigerians. I went to the dictionary to start looking for the word fragment and disunity because they were all very interchangeable and a little bit confusing. According to the dictionary, fragment means a small part broken off or detached. I don't know if Fedo was broken off from Nigeria or something like that. And then the disunity, dissension or disagreement, lack of unity or accord. To me, I've always believed that Nigerians, they are the most manageable people. You can manage Nigerians, it's just the structure. The structure is missing. If the structure is, or the foundation is weak, everything in it will be weak. I came to this country in 1975. Then, we were all Nigerians. I was the financial secretary and Mr. Ezewan was the president. At that time, most Nigerians didn't stay. They returned back. So it was year after year. There was nothing like Nigerian Foundation. It was Nigerian Student Union. And we returned home. So, except some few who came here, especially some of the Igbos, we just finished the Civil War. We were still somehow skeptical returning back. Otherwise, we didn't have enough numbers to form Nigerian association. So, in my own opinion, you cannot use the system of 1975 in the year 2000. It doesn't work. Most Nigerians, their loyalty is to their ethnic base. When it becomes apparent that, hey, there is no Jerusalem, this is our Jerusalem. Michigan is our Jerusalem. I'm 60 years old. So the possibility of returning back in 10 or 20 years to go and start becoming very useful there is getting slimmer and slimmer every day. So we have to approach our unity or our association in a different form. In my own opinion, Nigerian organization, 95% of the Nigerians in Michigan do not believe that Nigerian organization represent them. Otherwise, they will be supporting. And if we want to play the devil's advocate, assuming there is no ethnic organization, you will have close to 5,000 Nigerians. How do you manage them? So we have to rethink the process. And one structure we came up with when we formed Edo National Association was to make ENA an umbrella organization. All the various chapters, they were under the ENA voluntarily. And that's what we must adopt in Michigan. Nigerian Foundation should be an association of association. Indirect democracy, similar to what they practice in America. If you want to legislate, you legislate through your congressman. It doesn't matter how good the idea is, it has to be through the congressman. And what I will propose, I wish you all see what I'm saying. Yeah. I was looking at that umbrella. We have I counted the number of organizations there. They are 28.
Nice, 32.
32. That's a gold mine. To me, that's a gold mine. If we structure Nigerian organization properly, we be making history. And all other cities, they can emulate Detroit. And who knows, we may influence what is going on back home. What is going on back home is still the structure, nothing more. Our people, they appreciate, just construct one road, they clap and they sing for you. So our people are very manageable. It's just the structure that has failed us. So I had already started collecting a list of organizations in Michigan, but not knowing that you already have them. So I don't need to talk about that. What are my recommendations? My recommendation is restructure Nigerian Foundation of Michigan, and you have the Council of Presidents, all the ethnic organizations. The presidents should represent their organization. They become the legislative bodies. That is what we recommended for ENA when we formed it. Council of Presidents to become the legislative branch of Nigerian Foundation, made up of ethnic organizational presidents who are members of Nigerian organization. The organizations have to be registered. To support it, $100, $200 a year, that's okay with me. Then two, you now form the executive branch, who are the governing body of Nigerian Foundation, answerable to the Council of Presidents. To elect the president of the executive, the resume should be forwarded through their president to the members, who will now pick their candidate, tell their presidents how to vote. Vote for this guy. It should be an open ballot. If your president doesn't vote for the man the members chose, he will be impeached. He or she will be impeached. So it's very, very simple. And then third, you form your board of trustees to guide the Nigerian Foundation. So it should be an indirect vote. So the questions you raised, why would any organization want to be under the Nigerian organization? Then the second question is, what do we benefit from being member of Nigerian organization? That's the first question, or the first two questions any human being will ask. If you ask me, come, you say, what am I benefiting? If there's no benefit, I don't belong there. So my recommendations are, one, what we did in ENA is to establish an endowment system. What we did is that all the members of organizations, they were 40. Now I think it's about 30. It's endowed to $10,000. When something happened to you, your immediate loved one is given $10,000 the very next day. And for that to happen, every organization will have to register their members, their voting members, pay $40 a year, which is minimum. Out of we cannot just be an organization of buff, jollof rice, and all the others. We have to do much more than that. And when, if we have enough organization, which I think, because this Heritage Foundation, we have about 70 members and the Asian and the other, we form, and then I always try to encourage every Nigerian I see, go and join an organization or form one, as many organizations as we can. I want to deal with a body, not an individual. So you have that endowment system, and if 2,000 people they buy into it, you register 2,000 people at $40, that's 80,000. If anything happens, which means every year we'll be able to fund 8 people. Oh man. 10 minutes is too much. So that's how it works, and that will lure people to become members. And then two, also to expand the basic medical screening. I like that program. Once all the other organizations become members, you now structure them. Say the first say the month of January is for the Mbise, the Owerri and Ijebu. The next February, Edo, Robo, and Akwa Ibom, on and on. And that will even help the endowment system. Less of our people be dying every year. That's one. And then two, the third one is to introduce annual athletic competition, which is a good way for us to come together and our children, to bring our children into our organizations, because 98% of all the members of all organizations, whether Owerri, Asia, Edo, they are all the people that came from the motherland. You hardly find the young ones being a part of that organization. And whom are you going to hand over to? Now the US just cut off Nigeria from that diversity list. Yeah. So no more 50,000 migrating here. You have to come if you are highly technical. I don't see US going to Nigeria to go and recruit engineers to come and build America. It's never going to happen. That's that. And then the fourth one is to take advantage of the current Detroit bankruptcy work, and they work towards establishment of a community. I mean, there is no sufficient time for me. 10 minutes is a little bit too small for me. I wanted to dwell on this, because if you have a solid foundation, yes, we will thrive. Otherwise, I went to Nigerian organization maybe 15 years ago, only to find maybe 10, 20 people attending meetings. That's depressing. So you can't continue like that. You must restructure it, and I think I have to yield. You already, my time is up, right? Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker is Professor Edewe, and his topic, go ahead, sir.
My topic here, the factors that put Nigeria off from solidarity activities and prevent us from patronizing each other. Now, I'd like to recall to your information. Most Nigerians here are immigrants. We also have immigrants from Italy in the late 18th century. We have immigrants from Poland in the early 19th century, and more so after the Second World War. So we have different immigrants from all parts of the world, all coming to America for one purpose: to seek good life. That's why we're here. Now, the Nigerian experience is a little different from another experience. The police came here, the Italian Muslims came because of persecution. In Europe, people came because of persecution. In fact, many people from Europe were actually criminals who were sent out of England, and they all landed here. Now, if you remember, in 1980, there were the boat people from Cuba. The castle emptied the prisons and let them go. The United States take criminals. But Nigeria's case is not like that. During the Civil War, there were a few people who were persecuted. I don't believe there were many of them. We all came here because we wanted to be here. There were a few cases of women those days who were saying they fled Nigeria because they were going to suffer genital mutilation, which was a lie. It was just a way of getting green card. Nigeria did not come here because they were persecuted. Sociologists have a way of advancing theories for everything they do. I have not come across any theory which explains why Nigeria are not as successful economically as any of these groups. For example, when the Italians came, from what I know in Chicago, because they were suffering, they came together to solve their common problems. Nigerians have not been able to do that for some reasons. So what I want to do here is to list some of the reasons which I believe are responsible for this. And let me say, just as Obama says, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm only trying to say what is obvious to everybody already. I'm already restating it. Maybe if we say it long enough, it will sink to people's mind, and we'll try to change. Now the first thing I found here, what Nigeria brought with them the problems, mistrust, hatred, and divisiveness that plague our country at home. They brought it with them here. For example, all those suffered during the Civil War have not forgotten the horrors of the war. Many of them still keep it in their mind. They do not trust other Nigerians. Even though we're supposed to work together, they haven't changed. That remains there. Now, because of this mistrust, people don't work together. I'm a rubber man. You may say, people say, so why you? It has no basis. There are people who run away from you when you say you're a rubber man for no reason. That is because of the distrust that we brought from home. That type of attitude we still have in our mind. It doesn't help us to come together. Instead, it keeps us apart. The second thing I have here is Nigerians have a very bad name. We are considered fraudulent people. Anybody who watches the email see how many 419s come in every day. Nobody's going to do business with somebody who is fraudulent. Nigerians are themselves afraid of each other. There are stories upon stories of Nigeria defrauding other Nigerians. It is a fact. It's not a lie. Until we somehow manage to get out of this, it will not work. Now, people who commit crime here, I don't really bother about them because one day they'll be caught and they will pay the price. My main problem is people who know there are crime going on don't report it, hoping that because they're Nigerians, it's okay, they are doing the world disservice to our people. I would turn anybody whom I know carries drug if I have opportunity to. I am not going to spare him because he's spoiling my name and putting the name of the country. We cannot tolerate that. We should be our own best gatekeeper. We should protect our own interest as much as we can by turning anybody who spoils our name to the authorities for prosecution. Okay. The other thing I have here is the other one is Nigerian business ethics. This is a very large area, and it bothers me a lot that Nigerians' way of doing business is certainly do not follow the accepted standard. We have grocery stores here that don't fail. We have restaurants that don't thrive. Why? It's the business ethics. If you go to a typical Nigerian grocery store, the place is not well kept. They are overpriced goods. Nobody's going to come there. The Nigerian believe that when they start a business, they want to make all the profit in one day. It doesn't work that way. You build up a clientele, you build up a confidence before you start raising your prices through the roof. Other people will not come. The Shell company spent how many years in Nigeria before they got oil? They were there about 1907, all the way to 1958 before they found oil. If they did not have the confidence, the endurance, they will not reap all that work. You don't start a business today and you want to make all the profit. It doesn't work. It's not a human nature. You build up confidence, people find interest in you, eventually they become yours. They serve you better. That is the way our business should run. Then the other thing about the business, Nigerians lack, they don't know how to keep confidentiality. If I come to you to do business, this is between me and you. Nobody should know what we discussed. I know of cases where people who are accountants, you give them your papers to do your income tax. This is privileged information. Before you hear, they tell you, that man has no money. Saying the public, what does it matter? It's your client. You keep information confidential. I've seen this many times. So when I did that happen once, I said, no way, I'm not giving my tax anymore to any Nigerian. My information belongs to me, not to anybody else. There are other cases of physicians. You have to keep information very secret. If I have cancer, I did not ask to go and broadcast it. And the worst of all, there was a particular case which was very distressing. There was a girl who got pregnant and had an abortion somewhere. And before you know, that information went out. The girl in particular was a nun. And the man who did it was an instructor. Can you imagine what that means to that girl and that instructor? That information that was privileged. Why do you reveal it? Why would I come back to you to treat me next time if you're not going to keep my secret? These are things that keeps us apart. We should avoid that. Now, the other one, Nigerians are pretty envious of one another. I don't know why. I would rather go to a Korean to buy rice instead of buy from my fellow Nigerian. But I don't want to be richer than me. If Nigeria is rich, and that one is rich, I'm happy. These are my people. We do not patronize each other because we don't want other people to be better than us. And it's nonsense. Now I remember I read a book on the biography of Coleman Young. And somebody interviewed him and said, why do you always keep your money in non-African American banks? Why don't you keep your money in African American bank? You know what the reply was? African Americans don't know how to keep their damn mouth shut.
That's right. That's cool.
That's it. Because once the money is there, everybody will know how much you have in that bank. It's a problem. That is a privileged information. Now that's the information we will send back home now. I've heard that kidnappers work with bank managers to give information to kidnappers. And now there was a case of a general in Benin who was kidnapped. They were negotiating with him for money. And they said you pay 100 million. He was negotiating to 50, 40. They laughed him. I said, are you serious? They showed him his bank account.
Wow.
This money you have here, if you work for it, all we are telling you to give us a little bit, you are playing with us. That is no confidentiality there. Why would a bank manager divulge such information to an outsider? What is supposed to be privately between the bank and the owner of the account? And that part of it be done here. Be done here. The other thing we don't have, which is sad, without information with our people. An organization as big as Nigerian Foundation has no directory. I can't, if I want to call Dr. Adeleke, if I have to call 4 or 5 people to get his number.
You have to call me.
If I have a directory, I just look at it and call him. That's directory. We can have a directory for all the physicians, Nigerian physicians in the area. let their number, business number, their home number be there. If I am sick, I'll call them. People, can I see you? We have very, very good people here. We don't know they are. We have no idea where they live. We have no idea what kind of business they do. All the accountants, let us have a list of them. All the, okay, all of them, let's assume. So, the other one here, the other one I want to go very fast to the next two. We are very full of trivialities. Triviality by itself does not hurt anybody. But when you see people are performing and getting trivial things, you stay away from them. What is you? This is not serious. The way Nigerians dress is what they call overconsumption. If you go to the Korean anywhere, you're not going to see the Korean dress overdressed like Nigerians do. You have the jewelry here, you have the so-called beads on the neck. It's overconsumption, especially when a lot of this is produced in Nigeria. They tell us our culture. I disagree. It cannot be your culture when you don't produce it. It's not your culture. It's overconsumption. Everything is all right, but not too much. I have a case in Nigeria, we had a conference, and we have a doctor, he's very much from Milo. He's a very distinguished man. Then we had to tie wrapper. Then we're going to wear shoe. My friend was saying, no, we're going to wear shoe with wrapper. We don't put on socks. We wear one. The man says, it's wine. Where do you learn that from? They create all kind of things every day in the name of culture. And when people do that, you look at them being less than good people. You see them as being mean. Why would you spend so much time on something that is useless? Then look at the titles. Who is not an part of his village here? Is that true? If you want to be a king or anything, you go to your village and be a king there. Not in Michigan. This is an egalitarian society. You fight for yourself. And they want me to respect them because they are chiefs. I don't know you. Chieftain is local. If I'm a Bugeli and I'm sure I expect people to acknowledge, but not when you are chief of Port Harcourt. I don't know you. I'm not with them. So you are not my chief. This local things distract people. It pushes people away from others. It's about consumption. Then the last thing I want to say is the lack of accountability that we don't have in our society, in our groups. We can see in the case of Nigerian Foundation, there are lawsuits upon lawsuits because the books are not kept straight, nobody knows what's happening now, and all this cause problem. And when you see so much consumption, so much confusion, people stay away. Personally, I stay away from organizations where there are problems of litigation every now and then. The good time they will use to plan for what to do to better the people, they spend it in going to court. It's not money we have, we use for lawyers. This is becoming. We cannot do this. So all of this keep people away from the organization. I thank all of you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Professor David. We thank you for being able to voice out those problems that beset Nigerian Foundation and our community. And I believe they've been well noted, just like one for the first speaker. We're going to move to the next speaker now, and that will be Pastor Ojo.
Thank you very much. And I had to pick up this paper and look at the bio of the person who just spoke. That is a person, a sociologist or an engineer. I just have to be sure. That was very, very loaded, very fruitful, and I think some of the things you said is because you can get away with it because of your age. If I had said that, I thought somebody would have put me in my place thinking I'm arrogant. I have always argued passionately that you cannot claim wearing lace is your culture when it is made in Switzerland. We're the only country in the world that go to Switzerland to buy something to celebrate our culture. is ludicrous. I just, like I said, I'm piggybacking on what you said. If I said it last week, they would say he's too proud, this Mr. Tuno. So I keep my mouth shut. Anyway, we are talking, I'm supposed to discuss how do we retain and also try and bring back those who don't want to be associated with the community. When the last election was coming up, somebody came, one of the candidates, said I should support him, and I knew I had left. When I left, I said I'm out of here. It was a principled stand. I invested what I consider sufficient energy to participate, and when I just discovered I was going nowhere, that was my own interpretation. I said I was out of here. So the person said, okay, I got to register and pay $60. I said, you know what, I love you so much, but I'm not going to love you with my $60. So I said, go and win the election. Then when you win and you begin to run things, maybe I will come back. And thankfully, I didn't invest my $60. I came to see what was going on at the election, and it didn't go the way we thought things should go. So, but how do we even keep what we have? Everybody is proud of where he comes from, so I'm a Yoruba man, at least my parents are. They said is when you wake up. It is the time you wake up that your morning, M-O, I know because of my accent, your M-O-R-N-I-G, that your morning begins. So it's never too late, even when you wake up at 2 p.m. Well, if your compound is not swept, that's when you pick up the broom and sweep it. The first thing that we need to, that would let me put it this way. A lot of people are cynical in the society, and you are not going to win them by throwing a good party. You are not going to bring them back, even by organizing a symposium like this, because the cynicism, the skepticism run very deep. But if those who are part of this begin to take themselves very serious, they have a good structure, then good things do have a way of mutating naturally. That the achievement, the word that people say, the participation in the community, the involvement in the lives of those they seem to represent or they want to represent, will begin to change that negative perception. And the first thing I think we need to do to even retain those who are interested in participating is to have a clear structure. Who are we? Dr. Vaseki said, maybe this should be considered. Nigerian Foundation of Michigan has been by direct participation, open to everybody. Maybe you should become a representative organization that I cannot join as Clement Ojo, except I may be a member indirectly through Ududua or Yoruba America or Ijesha community or whatever. You know, it's something, let's throw it out there, you know, nothing that we cannot discuss about. But we have to have a structure that people understand. We got to have a constitution. That's part of the structure. I don't know what has happened in the last 3 years when I left, so I may be wrong on some points. But when I left in 2009, we had a committee, and we needed to consult the constitution. Everybody had their own version. That is what we found out. The current executive had their own version. Those who left, they had their own version. And then there was supposed to be another one that is yet to be adopted. And everybody will claim they were following the Constitution. So we could not even define ourselves. And then secondly, we need to be very candid. Participation in any Nigerian organization, whether it's Udo or this one, is a privilege, it's not a right. You see, we like overgeneralization in our community. We say anybody can join. Yes, anybody can join, but you got to play by the rules. One of the most disruptive group of people when I was there, are those who had no stake. They will show up in meeting 3 months. You have not seen them. Or maybe their friend had gone to tell them they are going to discuss how to impeach the president. That is when they will show up. And they want to vote. No, we have to take ourselves serious. It's not your right to belong to this association, whether by direct representation or indirect. It's a privilege. And those who are joining must be told what their duties are. It's not a place. I remember when we used to hold meetings on St. McNichols. People will finish their town union meeting, and then when they look through the hall, the Nigerian Foundation is still holding their meeting, they will come in and they want to participate in the debate. And people will let them. And like I said, they are usually the most disruptive people. They have not paid their dues, and they are running their mouth in the meetings. I mean, that's why I said you don't cheapen yourself. If somebody wants to join, let him know. As soon as you register, you say, look, you can only attend 2 meetings. You don't pay your dues, you are just considered a visitor. You can't even talk. I can brag about this because I paid my own due, because I say if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. By the second meeting you show up, you have not paid, it means you are not interested. You just don't have somebody to know where to go on Sunday. So we need to have a structure. We need to let people know it's a privilege. It's not your birthright. Driving in Michigan, having a driver's license is a privilege. I hope you guys know that.
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys don't argue about it. So then the next thing is that we need to move away from the only time we're excited, and people will say they don't see you in all these things, you know, parties and so on. They are boring, they are repetitive, and that's the only time people show up. People will expect me to hear their parties till 1 a.m. when I'm going to be in church by 6:30, leading prayer. So there is no way. I love you, but I can't be in your party until 11. It just cannot work. I'm not being proud. I'm not the only one who goes to church. It just will not help me to achieve my goals on Sunday. And that is the only thing when you see people. We need to move away from that. We need to, that's why I said when you begin to do what people can identify with that they can talk about, then it has a way of inviting people to come and check you out. And I want to make a point here. I wrote it down. This is not just something extra that came to my mind. We are talking of, we're always having all these fancy ideas to build, to buy a 50,000 square feet building, to do something humongous in Nigeria. But why don't we also embark on sustainable projects? We could say we want to give scholarship to 4 students. Not necessarily our kids. Now I'm going to talk about that by half time. We could say, look, we want to endow scholarship for 500. 4 people in a year. It could be an essay context. It could be subject based. You get the point? And we actually do these things. To me, when I was really much involved, I knew how much it costs to put all these parties together. We can do better instead of spending all that money on the so-called independence party. But we just attended somebody's mother's wakekeeping the other day. We ate the same food, rice. Those are the typical things, rice and chicken like we just had now. And then we're going to do it again because of that. No, look, let us begin to move away from some of these things. Where is the scholarship? Our kids, they fill forms in church, at work, to get some $500 scholarship. We still bring the form home, but where is the one we are giving to people that will connect those children with us? That my 500 book scholarship came through Nigerian Foundation of Michigan, because I wrote the best essay. And then again, we say, okay, Nigerians have a bad reputation in the community. Some people feel strongly about that, and at times I do too. But as a pastor, I have to love everybody. The only way we can even reverse that is not to see ourselves being so much more better than our host communities that we don't want to engage them. I think the time has come for us to, it could be a school we adopt. And we say, look, we want to give $2,000 to the best, science, social studies, English, and so on. And by the time you go, the executives show up to make this presentation, they get to know parents, they get to know the principal. In some cases, they may invite somebody from the school district. And in the process, people are beginning to know real Nigerians. Not the Nigerians they met through email, that my father just died, that my husband died, they found 50 million in his account. People don't know who the real Nigerians are. Because Nigerians, honestly, we think we are better than even some of the communities that play host to us. We have, some of us, not all, I have seen it in talk, I've told people at times to shut up. They have this disdain at times even for African Americans. But how are you going to work on your image when you don't even engage the community that hosts you? So I think we should, if we want to win the next generation, they have to have something to brag about. They will not. My own kids will not come with me to independence celebration. The oldest one is 19, of course. He's not going to go. The other one will be yelling. I will have a choice of either smacking him or slapping him and going to jail, or just say, you know what, stay at home. You don't have to follow me. He's 40, will tell me he doesn't want to go. That he doesn't want to go and eat rice. That is the same talk, blah, blah, blah. So, but if this guy, it could be my child or your child, could win in high school a grant for $500 because of certain things tied to some achievement, that connects him. And then if the school near your house, you get to know the principal because Dr. Adeleke and some executives showed up to make a presentation. Like I said, some of these people will even invite the superintendent, because the superintendent will hear that 2 kids in this particular school won a Nigerian Foundation scholarship of 1,000 each. And then you begin to engage the community, even if they have received that hopeless letter. By the time you give them your card and they know you are a doctor or an engineer, they begin to change. Okay, I'm going to stop because of time. Thank you.
I would like to thank Pastor Ojo for your contributions, and I believe they're really very effective and really focuses on where the foundation itself needs to make some changes, just like the rest 2 speakers. And we'll take those ones very seriously. At this point, we have come to the end of the first session. Technically, you should be doing answering questions. Go ahead and read your question.
Okay.
Who's your person?
My name is Taiwo Blair.
Hey, hold up a second.
University chapter. First of all, I want to thank the panelists. But all you just said now are good talking points. But the foundation of any good organization should be fairness, justice, and equality. Are we ready to start with that first before we can go ahead with other aspects of our life? Because if there's no justice, if there's no fairness, the house will fail. What is happening in Nigeria today is what is happening in Nigerian Foundation. I've spoken with my Honorable President, Dr. Adeleke. You have to bring everybody back together, and you have to be open. It's only when you are open and see, and people see that you are fair, then people will come back to the fold. Any other thing, we are just wasting our time.
Thank you very much for the.
It's an observation.
Yes, that's my thing to say. Any other person, any other question? Yes, Dr. Nana.
Yeah, my name is Adewo Nana. I think a lot of people in the community here should be very familiar with me because I engage myself with a lot of, and that's a factor also. I think from the three respected gentlemen who have just spoken, they listed all the problems that's actually plaguing our community. If you remember Mr. Einstein, he said if he has the time, he will spend like 24 hours to define the problem, then use 5 minutes to solve the problem. And I modified it a little bit because the quote is quite different from what I said. Now we have a list of all the problems. Professor Andre Davier listed a lot of problems. Dr. Kenua Baseki did the same thing, and our General Pastor did the same thing. Okay, right now, how do we solve the problems? What are the pathways? What are we going to, what are going to be, now we have to, I'm looking at a paradigm that's going to shift right now. What are the list of the solutions that you guys can provide for us? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 5 that can get us started to resolve all these crises that we have. Thank you. 3 of them.
Sonny, let them answer this.
They can answer this question right now.
Yes.
Because the question is asking now, they've already give the question and solution to it.
No. All right. Okay. Let me.
They define it.
If I may.
They define it.
We are the situation with us Nigerians is statistically, demographically, we are more educated than even the average American, and as a consequence of that, we have the ability to couch our expectations and assumptions in with big ground. People always ask this question: what is the organization doing for me? You want me to come and join? But the question is, what do you expect the organization to actually be doing for you? Nobody has been able to define that. Do you expect the organization, when you have immigration problem, to engage the service of an attorney? Or maybe we need to tell you, maybe the organization will be more effective if we hold immigration seminar, so that when you get into immigration trouble, you have sufficient knowledge to know who to or how to go about it. So these generalizations, yes, what is my expectation? What's the organization going to do for me? How are they going to help me and all those stuff? I think they are based on certain assumptions. At times they are wrong. The thing I believe we should do first is to clarify who we are as an organization. Like I said, Doctor said, it's not like I'm saying we should adopt it now. It's something that should be looked at very well. What is the structure? Do you want to continue this direct representation structure, or you want to go to indirect representation? When you do that, when somebody joins either as a group of Odudua or as Clement Ojo, when I'm given that, a copy of the bylaws, I think some of it will begin to clarify what I expect to get from the organization. And then not just assume every problem, when my mother dies, they're supposed to help me to take her home and all those stuff.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Pastor Ojo. Thank you so very much for the response. Please, last question, for lack of time. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Osao Viasu, member of the Edo Heritage Foundation of Michigan. I have to say thank you. Mine is like an observation, and it's part answer to what Dr. Nana said. I've listened carefully to the three speakers. Apart from Dr. Obaseki, Professor Adebia, Pastor Ojo, all I got from you is just criticism. And that is what we get in Nigeria. Anywhere we go to, people just criticize us. And I believe, I might ask Dr. Adeleke, maybe you are not members of, you just say you are not a member of Nigerian Foundation again. What Dr. Obaseki said is what actually I told somebody, past president before. The only way, and I hope Dr. Adeleke is listening carefully, the only way we can get everybody involved is actually to have a council of presidents. Anybody that wants to be a member of Nigeria Foundation should be a member of one local chapter. And anybody that wants to be a president of Nigeria Foundation must have been a president of a local chapter. That way, we might move forward. It's no use we keep on criticizing ourselves. We are aware that you might feel that parties mean nothing to you. You might feel that we criticize ourselves too much or whatever it is, but we have to move forward. I think that's why we are here, and not actually to criticize ourselves.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, Doctor.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Viasu. There is nothing you're going to do to prevent loyalty to all those ethnic organizations. They are already here to stay. And to them, they cannot belong to, say, Ijebu organization, belong to Nigerian organization. It's going to be 100% loyalty to Ijebu organization. Yeah. Now to engage them, which is what we did with ENA, Edo National Association, is to make ENA an umbrella organization. Nigerian Foundation should be an umbrella organization. All other organizations have to come under Nigerian Foundation and organization membership. So you can revise whatever you want to revise. You are not going to get more than 50 membership, period.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me say this very quickly, please. I know that we have a structured plan to follow, but I want to give a special preference to our last two speakers. They are mothers or mother and sister who need to leave here and get to their children. Much as we're going to continue with this topic, I would like them to kindly present make a presentation. And after that, this continues. If whoever wants to leave may leave, especially the two last speakers. I'm sorry to have them as the last. They are women. Women should be first indeed. But based on what we have, they came in last. I'm sorry. I'll let them have their turn. You know, whoever wants to use the bathroom can quietly do that while they have their speech. So let's give just the chance to the next speaker.
I have a point. If you don't mind. I still want to bring out back the last thing.
There's room for general discussion. There's room for general discussion.
Just a point. Just a point.
Okay, go ahead.
The last thing you said and Obiasu said is the same thing Pastor Joe said, that if you are, as a body of an organization, be a member of the Nigerian Foundation, which is the same thing. You said, right?
Yeah, I said it's something that should be considered.
Yes.
Because it's always rowdy when I was attending, very rowdy. People just stroll in and talk.
Okay.
You know?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thanks for that observation and correction.
disagree.